Alhamdulillah, all praise and all thanks is due to Allah. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastahdihi wa nastaghfiruh. We praise Him, we thank Him, we beg His guidance and His forgiveness. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. And we seek refuge and protection with Him from the evil of our own souls, our egos, and from the evil consequences of our actions. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lah. And whomever Allah Jalla wa Ala chooses to guide from His infinite mercy, then there are none who can misguide him. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ. And conversely, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to lead astray from His infinite wisdom, then there are no one who can guide him. Or there is no one who can guide him. وَأَشْهَدُ أَنْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. And I testify that there's no God or deity who is truly deserving of our worship, our love, our prayers, our sacrifice. No one is deserving of this except Allah, Him and Him alone and without partners. وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. And I further testify that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, is His servant and final messenger. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. O you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have a consciousness of Him, be aware of Him, the fear and the consciousness and awareness that He's deserving of you, and don't you dare die except as Muslims, in a state of submission to the will of Allah. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ. O humanity, fear your Lord who created you from a single soul, and that single soul being our father Adam. وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا. And then from him Allah Azza wa Jal created his mate, our mother Eve. وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً. And then from them both, just those two souls, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala populated the earth with many men and women. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامِ. And fear your Lord through whom you ask your mutual rights, and never cut the ties of family. Always uphold the ties of kinship. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. Because indeed, always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you and I. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. O you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, that consciousness of Him, that awareness of Him, and always speak the truth, a straightforward word. يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالَكُمْ. And if you do that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will repair your deeds. وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. And on top of that, He'll forgive you your sins. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. And whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger have achieved the greatest success that anyone could hope to achieve in this life. ثُمَّ أَمَّا بَعْدْ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. Ustad Fahmi, you want to help them out right there? Okay, so I'm quite certain that very few of y'all in front of me are fasting right now today. So we try that again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Oh, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allahu Akbar. I thought I almost showed up at the wrong venue. There's Muslims here? Yes. Muslims is here? Yes. Alhamdulillah. Tayyib. So, one of the beautiful things about Islam, one of the beautiful things about this religion that Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed us with, is that He's constantly giving us opportunities to get closer to Him. Nothing pleases Allah Azza wa Jalla more than for us to get closer to Him, to ask for His mercy, His forgiveness. Allah Azza wa Jalla is always extending this to the believers in different opportunities. And sometimes those opportunities, they present themselves through certain acts. That some acts of worship are greater than others. That's the opportunity to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to gain His favor, to gain His love, and to garner His love is greater. For example, Hajj. Hajj is such a wonderful and tremendous opportunity to get closer to Allah and to have a sila with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to express His oneness, that He made it one of the pillars of Islam. It is the marker of a Muslim. It is something that if you are able to do so, you must do so. But at the same time, it's an opportunity to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's greater than other opportunities like Umrah. Umrah is a minor Hajj, It's the minor pilgrimage. You can do that at any point in time throughout the year. But Umrah, as we all know, it's not the same as Hajj. It's not on the same level in terms of reward, in terms of its virtue. It's not the same. Sometimes that opportunity presents itself through some places being better than others. We all know the virtue of Mecca and Medina over all other places. We all know the virtue of Mecca and Medina. That they're better than any other place on the face of the earth. And the most beloved place to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Excuse me. And one of the ways that that's expressed in authentic hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he said in Musnad Imam Ahmed and Ibn Hibban, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Salatun fi masjidi hadha. He said prayer, one prayer in this masjid. Abdul Kareem, is he talking about Tawfiq? No, he's not talking about Masjid Tawfiq. Fi masjidi hadha, and he's talking about the Prophet's masjid. Masjid al-Nabawi, the Prophet's masjid, which of course is in Medina. He said one prayer there. He said it's better than alf salatin fi ma siwa. He said it's better than 1,000 prayers in any other masjid. Illa Masjid al-Haram. He said except for Masjid al-Haram, which is where? Masjid al-Haram is where? In Mecca, the Kaaba, and the masjid there. He said, as-salatu fi Masjid al-Haram afdalu min as-salati fi Masjid hadha 100 marra. He said, Masjid al-Nabawi, to pray one prayer there is better, 1,000 times better, than prayer anywhere else, except for in Masjid, the prayer in Masjid in Mecca, in the Haram. But he said that masjid, to pray there, is 100 times better than to pray in Masjid al-Nabawi. That comes out to how much, Ustad? All you mathematicians. How much? That's 100,000. To pray Salat al-Fajr once. To pray Salat al-Fajr once in Mecca is like you praying for years in Tawfiq Islamic Center. You're praying for years to catch up with Salat al-Dhuhr in the Masjid al-Haram, in the Kaaba. And I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us to be able to pray there. Allahumma ameen. But the point here is what? That some places are better than other places. Some places are better than other places. We said some acts of worship are better than others, and some places are better than others. But also, brothers and sisters, there are times. There are certain times that are better than others. There are, for example, in the week, which day is better in the whole week? What's the best day in the whole week? Yawm al-Jumu'ah. It's the best day out of the whole week. It's the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to institute Yawm al-Jumu'ah, Salat al-Jumu'ah. It's the day that the Muslims come together. It's the day that all over the world, Muslims are coming together, listening to the khutbah, praying Salat al-Jumu'ah. They're praying together. It's the best day out of the week compared to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tell you. Similarly, there are months. Just like there are days, or a day that's better than other days, there are months that are better than all of the other months. And they're so special that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually pointed them out in the Quran. In Surah Tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض منها 4 حرم ذلك دين القيم إلى آخر الآية. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and certainly with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the number of months are 12 with Allah. There are 12 months, right? And out of those 12 months, in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَوْمَ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, the day that He created the heavens and the earth, there are 4 months. أشهر الحرم. that they are sacred months. They are holy months. They are sanctified. Yani they are different from all of the other months out of the rest of the year. And subhanallah, from the sanctity of those months, what happens when we say that they're sacred or they have a certain uniqueness and specialness to them, when you do good deeds in those particular months, which I haven't mentioned which of those 4 months they are, but in those months, when you do an act of worship, because that time is sacred, because that time is holy, because that time is sanctified, the rewards or good deeds that you do, they are multiplied. The good deed, the sadaqah that you give in the sacred months, in Muharram, oh, I gave it away already. It's multiplied. And conversely, the things that you do that are wrong, the ma'asi, the sins, anything that's haram, the dhanbi, the punishment, the consequences are also multiplied. The consequences are multiplied. And those specific months, the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned in Sahih Muslim, he mentions منها أربعة حرم ثلاثة متواليات. He said there are 4 months that are sacred, and there are 3 that are mentioned consecutively. متواليات, one after, or they happen one after the other. Right? ذو القعدة, ذو الحجة, and then Muharram. And then the other one he said, Rajab al-Mudar. Rajab Mudar. So the sacred months out of the year, brothers and sisters, out of the 12 months are 4, and I just mentioned them. What are they? I just mentioned the 4 to you right now. I'm making sure that you're with me. We said Dhul Qi'dah. Huh? Did he say Dhul Hijjah? Okay, Jay, Dhul Hijjah. Huh? Dhul Qi'dah, somebody already said that. Muharram, there's one more. There's one more. Y'all gonna leave me hanging like that? There's just one, bas. Now I'm Ustad. Huh? Rajab? Oh, he didn't say that, did he? He said something else. I can't hear, my ear still popped from the plane. So what now? He said Hajj? Oh, Dhul Hijjah? No. But I gave it to y'all. It's a freebie. Which one is it, y'all? Rajab. Now, these are the 4 months. Tayyib. So these are sacred months. They're holy months. And part of that sacredness, aside from the good deeds being multiplied and the bad deeds being also the consequences for them being multiplied, the Prophet in the time of the Arabs, what they actually used to do is in those sacred months, the fighting that they would do, because they were known for fighting. As a tribal society, they were constantly fighting one another, blood feuds happening, one person kills another, and then of course there has to be revenge because that was my cousin, and then somebody killed my cousin, now somebody else has to come and revenge. So they were constantly always fighting. But in the sacred months, everybody knows, hands off. We can't fight during that time. No. That's even before the advent of Islam. They used to treat those months as sacred and sanctified. Al-Muhim, so now, subhanallah, but what month is it right now, y'all? Jazakallah khair. It's April. It is. Now, and what's the next month? May. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Tayyib. In the Islamic calendar, what's coming? What's the month that's coming? What's that? The month that's coming is Ramadan. So what month is it now? Now, Mr. Sha'ban. Jazakallah khair. Sha'ban. But this month, brothers and sisters, everybody knows about Ramadan. Everybody knows that we're supposed to fast in that time. Everybody knows that the arkan al-Islam, shahadatu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadur Rasulullah wa iqam as-salat wa ita' az-zakat wa sawmi Ramadan. Everybody knows that. Even that little kid right there, mashallah, he knows. And the Sheikh over there, mashallah, tabarakallah, كان يعلم الناس. He used to teach the people that. So of course we all know. But subhanallah, this month of Sha'ban, a lot of people don't know the significance of this month. A lot of people are caught unawares as to the blessings of this month, the virtue of this month, and what's unique about this month. And subhanallah, it is actually expressly mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ. He actually expressly said people are unaware of it, that they overlook it. And part of the reason, and the Prophet ﷺ, he said in فيما رواه في سنن النسائي, ذلك شهر يغفل الناس عنه بين الرجب ورمضان. بين الرجب ورمضان. He said that is the month that a lot of people overlook it. They forget about it. And why is that? The reason for that, brothers and sisters, because we mentioned, and I want you to tell me again, what are the 4 sacred months? Dhul Hijjah, but before that, in order, it's what? Dhul Qa'dah, and then it's Dhul Hijjah, and then Muharram, then Rajab. Now, and then after Rajab is what? Is Sha'ban, and then after Sha'ban is Ramadan. So look at it. First Rajab, which is one of the sacred months, the holy months. Even before the advent of Islam, Rajab was considered one of the sacred and holy months. And then of course Islam only reaffirmed that yes, it is one of the sacred months. It is a holy month. So the people pay attention to that time. And then Shahru Ramadan comes, and of course everybody pays attention to Ramadan. Everybody knows about Ramadan. So it comes between this sacred month, and it comes between this special month that's a pillar of Islam, fasting in the month of Ramadan, and right in between, smack dab in the middle, you have Sha'ban. So a lot of people, يَغْفَلُ النَّاسُ عَنْهُ كَثِيرٌ. A lot of people, they don't pay attention to it. It's هذا Sha'ban. They think of it as just another month. And subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, before I move on explaining about the virtues of Sha'ban and how we should understand Sha'ban, and once we have the proper understanding, then what should we do with that understanding? I want to just explain what the word Sha'ban even means, right? Min bab al-fa'ida, right? And you should also know, like, what Ramadan means. You should know what that means. But the word Sha'ban, the asl of that word is Sheen, Ain, Ba. Alif wa Nun, Za'ida. أما أصل هذه الكلمة شين عين باء. You can say شعب, شعوبة, شعوب, right? You can say any of those. Now the meaning that's mentioned by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah when he's explaining what this word sha'iba or sha'uba, what it means, yani, after or during the time of Rajab, there's two definitions that they give. In the time of Rajab, it's one of the sacred months. So they were holding themselves back. The Arabs were holding themselves back. لكن بعد الرجب خلاص تشعبا استعدادا للقتال. That the people, right, they were holding themselves back from fighting in the sacred months out of respect for the sanctity and the holiness of that month. And then after that, let me at them. Then they want to go, then they'll fight, and then whatever. And so they would spread out going to fight. That's the meaning of the word. That's one definition that they give. The other that they give is that in the month of Sha'ban, they used to go out looking for water. And they would spread out. And they would spread out. Right? Just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they would spread out looking for water. So some are going here, some are going there, some are going in all these different places. Right? And if you look at it, right, all these different groups and all these different, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ in Surah Al-Hujurat, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. But this word shu'ub, then he made us what? different groups spread out, different nations. These look like this, these have this language, these talk like that. Right? They're all spread out and they're all different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did that. Right? But that's where you get the meaning. And this is just from Bab al-Fa'ida, so like a benefit, so you understand what this word is, where it comes from, whatever. So you understand. But this month of Sha'ban, I'm going to mention to you the hadith in its entirety that I started earlier, that it's the month that people are ignorant about. The Prophet ﷺ, he was, Usama bin Zayd radiallahu anhu was talking to him, and he said, قلت يا رسول الله لم أرك تصوم شهرا من الشهور ما تصوم من شعبان قال ذلك شهر يغفل الناس عنه بين رجب ورمضان وهو شهر ترفع فيه الأعمال إلى رب العالمين فأحب أن يرفع عملي وأنا صائم. So, first of all, you notice that Usama bin Zayd, he's the one who's narrating this hadith, or he's telling this hadith. And he said that I said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O messenger, or to the messenger of Allah, O messenger of Allah, he said, I don't see you fasting any other month out of all of the months the way I see you fasting in the month of Ramadan, in the month of Sha'ban. I see you fasting like a lot during that time. And the Prophet ﷺ, he explained, he said, that's the month that a lot of people miss out on. يَغْفَلُ عَنْ. They don't pay attention to it. Yani they're heedless about it. Right? And he mentions why. Because it's Bayna Rajab Ramadan, because it's between those two special, sacred, holy months that everybody put up on a pedestal. Everybody knows that those are special months. He said it's between those 2 months. He said, but in that month of Sha'ban, he said, تُرْفَعُ فِيهِ الْأَعْمَالِ. He said, in that month, the deeds are raised up. تُرْفَعُ مِنْ رَفَعَ. Yani they go up, meaning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. To the Lord of all of the worlds. فَأُحِبُّ أَنْ يُرْفَعَ عَمَلِي وَأَنَا صَائِمٌ. And he said, so I love to have my deeds, when they're being raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, I want to be, or I love to be in a state of fasting. Someone who's fasting, while my deeds are being raised up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that when my deeds are being shown to Allah, my good deeds and everything that I've done, and then I'm being looked at that very moment, while my deeds are being raised to Allah, I'm in a state of fasting. Now, so there's three things that we can quickly take from that, brothers and sisters, to show us just quickly some of the virtues and some of the why this month is sacred, the month of Sha'ban. Number one, it's a time when people are heedless. It's a time when people are not paying attention. And the second thing is, the deeds are being raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The deeds are being raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I almost forgot to mention. He said, when people are heedless. When people are heedless, when people are not paying attention, these are the times when you become distinguished from everybody else. It's a marker of distinction. That you, when everybody else is not paying attention, because he said, يَغْفَلُ عَنْهُ النَّاسِ. People don't pay attention during that time. He said, the Prophet ﷺ mentions in other ahadith that that's the best time to be worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because, have y'all ever seen a picture when they talk about being a leader, or when they talk about going against the grain, there'll be like a picture of everybody carrying a briefcase and they're walking in one direction, and then there's somebody walking in the opposite direction, going against the whole crowd. Or you see a picture where they show people walking that way and they're all wearing the same color, and then there's one person wearing a different one going this other way. In those times when people are not paying attention, those times you stand out. When you remember Allah, when you think about Allah, when mashallah, tabarakallah. This gives you a marker of distinction. So for example, what do I mean by that, a marker of distinction? And there's more reward in it. In the middle of the night, When you pray Qiyam al-Layl, what is everybody doing at 2 o'clock in the morning? What's everybody doing? Okay, so I know it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had class. So if I ask y'all a question, yes, I do want to answer from everybody. At 2 o'clock in the morning, ya Jama'ah, what's everybody doing? So when everybody's sleeping and here you come, 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's sleeping. Your wife is sleeping. The children are sleeping. Your neighbors are sleeping. Everybody in the neighborhood, everybody's trying to get rest so they can go to school, work, and get ready for the dunya. And here you come in the middle of the night. You get up out of that beautiful sleep, mashallah, tabarakallah, and you go and you make wudu with water. The lights are off, and in the middle of the dark, in the middle of the night, when everybody else is asleep, here you are, distinguished, praying in the middle of the night. And because of that, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ أَفْضَلَ الصَّلَاةِ بَعْدَ الْمَفْرُوضَةِ صَلَاةُ فِي جَوْفِ اللَّيْلِ. He said, after the 5 daily prayers, which is, everybody has to do that. But he said, the best prayer after that, فِي جَوْفِ اللَّيْلِ. Yani in the middle of the night, the best prayer after the 5 daily prayers, because there's nothing better than Fajr. There's nothing better than Dhuhr. Rayan, did you hear me? If you pray Qiyam al-Layl for the rest of your life, but you don't pray Maghrib, one Maghrib is better than all of those prayers. Fajr, Duha, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, there's nothing better than that. But after that, the best prayer, Ustad, Fi Jawf al-Layl, in the middle of the night. Why? Because everybody else is heedless. Everybody else is sleeping. Tell you another example. When you're in the mall, or you go to the store, there's a dua you're supposed to make. Does anybody know that dua that you're supposed to make when you first step into the marketplace, to the store? Anybody know? Ya Jama'ah, ma fi ahad? I'm sure everybody goes here. I know all of y'all go to Mall of America. I know you go to the store. Nobody here goes to Target? Nobody goes to Walmart? MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Tayyib. That's what we're here for the class. Tayyib. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Man dakhala as-suq faqal, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. So this dua, when you say it, right? لا إله إلا الله, there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. وحده لا شريك له, Him alone and without partners. له الملك وله الحمد, for Him is the kingdom, and for Him is all praise. Yuhyi wa yumit. He's the one who gives life and He gives death. Biyadihi al-khayr. In His hands is all good. Wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. And He is capable and able to do all things. Look at the reward that you, when you go into the market, when you go to the store, when you go to the Mall of America, Ustad, and I'm asking everybody, what are people thinking about when they go to the store? And I'm asking everyone, what are they thinking about? Buying stuff, shopping, clothes, products, phone, or money, sales, discount, bargaining. That's what everybody's thinking about. Either they're selling or they're buying. But that's what everybody's thinking about. Do people go to Best Buy and they're thinking, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah? Is that how they enter? And then they start making tawaf around Apple products? That's not how it works. People are thinking about buying stuff. They're thinking about the dunya. They're not thinking about Allah. And then here you come. The first thing, before anything else, before you bought anything, before you looked at anything, before you tried anything on, here you come. La ilaha illallah. Wahdahu la sharika lah. Lahu al-mulk wa lahu al-hamd. Yuhyi wa yumeet. Huwa hayyun la yamut. Biyadihi. Here you come saying all of this, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and who He is, and His characteristics, and what He should mean to you, and what He's capable of. That's what you're thinking about, even when you go to the store, while everybody else is thinking of something else. So then what's the reward for that? This distinction that you have, that you're thinking about something else, you're thinking about Allah while everybody's thinking about something else. What benefit do you get out of it? This is what the Prophet ﷺ said you get out of it. The Prophet ﷺ, he said what? that, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, كتب له كتب الله له ألف حسنة ومحى عنه ألف سيئة ورفع له ألف درجة وبنى له بيتا في الجنة. Subhanallah. Again, math is not my strong suit. What is 1,000 times 1,000? Astaghfirullah. I didn't say 1,000 plus 1,000. It's okay. I know you misheard me. I didn't say what. I'll speak clearly. I'll speak louder. 1,000 times 1,000. 1,000 multiplied by 1,000. I didn't say 1,000 times 1. فهم السؤال نصف الجواب. يا جماعة. يا أبو PhD. 1 million? Just this 10,000? Look it, let's count 1,000 10 times. 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. That's 1 million. 1 million reward. ألف حسنة. لكن ما توقف هنا. ما توقف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. زاد على هذا. ومحى عنه ألف سيئة. Allah maha, and yamhu. Allah wipes it out. 1 million bad deeds, like it never happened. 1 million bad deeds wiped out. Just from one dua. One time you went to Target. One time you went to Walmart. And that one time, Allah wiped out 1 million bad deeds for you. And gave you 1 million good deeds for saying that one statement. وزاد على ذلك ورفعه ألف درجة. And the Prophet ﷺ said, and Allah raises and elevates that person 1,000 times, 1,000 times. Subhanallah. So do you see why I started with saying that there are some times that are better than others? There are certain actions that are better than others? And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking to give us opportunities to get closer to Him. Even something as mundane as you going to the supermarket. Even something as mundane as you going and buying some milk at Aldi's or Cub Foods. Allah is looking for opportunities for you to get ajr, to get closer to Him. And He didn't stop there. We said 1 million good deeds, 1 million bad deeds being erased from your scale. And then on top of that, you being elevated 1 million times. وَبَنَى لَهُ بَيْتًا فِي الْجَنَّةِ. On top of all of that, and wallahi, this last one would be enough. Allah builds you a house in Jannah. Or excuse me, Allah has a house built for you in Jannah. But all of this because why? Because during this time, people are not paying attention. You're distinguished. You stand out. You stick out from everybody else. When everybody else is thinking and prioritizing other things in the dunya, you're thinking about and prioritizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You still go about your daily affairs. You still do what you have to do, but the priority is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so because of that, you get greater reward. So what are the benefits? We said number one is a marker of distinction in the month of Sha'ban. Now you stand out. A distinction. Just like we said you stand out in the market, just like you would stand out if you were praying fi Jawf al-Layl, everybody else is sleeping. In the month of Sha'ban, if you treat it as it should be, it becomes a marker of distinction for you. Secondly, it's more hidden. And what I mean by it's more hidden, the good deeds that you do. Because everybody's supposed to be fasting in Ramadan. We even teach our little children, inshallah this year you're going to fast half of the day. Inshallah you're going to fast part of the day, and then we'll give you some reward or some treats, whatever at the end. Even the little kids, everybody knows. Even there's people, fusaq. You know, Iyal al-Suq? Wallahi, even in our community, we know. How many people do we know? They don't even pray. And ya jama'ah, كلكم تعرفون في أناس ما يصلون طول السنة لكن يصوم رمضان. أليس كذلك شيخ؟ أليس هكذا؟ People don't even pray the whole, there are people who don't pray the whole year, but in the month of Ramadan, they fast. Some of them, not only do they fast, mashallah, They're praying Qiyam Taraweeh. Allahu Akbar. Standing for a whole hour. Now, for a whole hour. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Crying. And then after that, khalas. No more. So everybody's doing that. But in Sha'ban, who knows that you should be fasting? Who knows about the multiplication of good deeds? Who knows that our deeds are being raised and elevated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Many of us, we don't know this. Some of you, wallahi, it might be the first time that you ever heard that your deeds are being raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the month of Sha'ban. يَغْفُرُ عَنْهُ النَّاسِ. And so because of that, it's hidden when you do your good deeds at that time, and any deed that is hidden or people don't know about and you're doing it, هذا أقرب إلى الإخلاص. هذا أقرب إلى التوحيد. This is closer to you not showing off for anybody, because nobody knows that you're doing those good deeds. And then thirdly, it's more difficult because you might be the only people, you might be a small group. Only a few of you know about it, or only a few of you are able to do it. Unlike Ramadan, we said everybody's fast, but not everybody's fasting in Sha'ban. And so because when there's only a few of you doing it, that in and of itself becomes a mashaqqa, becomes a difficulty. Right? And so, subhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ, he said anytime that something is more difficult, any act of worship or ibadah that's more difficult, there's a direct correlation with your deed, the reward being increased. Al-ajru bi-qadr al-mashaqqa. The reward is commensurate to how difficult that action is. The more difficult it is, the more reward you get. If it's difficult for you to fast, the more reward you get. If it's difficult for you to pray and it's harder, then the more reward you get. And so now you fasting in a time when other people aren't, and you trying to increase in good deeds when other people aren't, the reward goes up. And shuf, and to show you this, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, للعامل منهم أجر 50 منكم أي من الصحابة إنكم تجدون على خير أعوانا ولا تجدون. In Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ, he was speaking to the Sahaba, Ridwanullahi alayhim, and he said, look, at one of you, when you do, someone who does a reward, and he's speaking about us, the people after the Sahaba, the people after Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, meaning you and me right now, and all of the Muslims right now. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, for those people, he said they get the reward 50 minkum. So they get the reward of 50 from the Sahaba. From 50. Why? Why? He said, إِنَّكُمْ تَجِدُونَ عَلَى خَيْرٍ أَعْوَانًا وَلَا يَجِدُونَ. He said, because you guys, you all Sahaba, my ashabi, he said, you have people who help each other. You have aid and assistance and resources. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he's right there to help them out and to push them and encourage them and motivate them and inspire them. He said, but for you all, subhanAllah, wallahi, you might be the only person at your work who prays. You might be the only kid at your school who's fasting Ramadan. You might be the only sister at your school, at your college. You're the only one wearing hijab. Or you're the only one doing what you're supposed to. And because of that, al-ajr bi qadr al-mashaqqa. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, he goes on, فَطُوبَى لِلْغُرَبَاءِ وَلِهَذَا جَاءَ فِي الصَّحِيحِ كَذَلِكَ الْعِبَادَةُ فِي الْحَرَجِ كَالْهِجْرَةِ إِلَيْهِ. The Prophet ﷺ, he said what? When you're worshiping Allah and it's difficult or during hard times, he said it's commensurate to, or it's like you making hijrah to me. In Sahih Muslim, and Ma'aqal ibn Yasar, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that what? When you're having hard times, you're having difficulty with your wife. Hard times, back and forth, arguing, difficulties. That can be spiritually draining. But you maintain your salah as you're supposed to. You maintain your connection, your relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a woman, as you should, or as the husband, as you should. And you keep praying. You still wake up for Fajr, even though there was problems all night. Even though you may have been searching the streets looking for your kids. أليس هذا حرج أن تبحث لابنك في الشارع منتصف الليل؟ هل هذا حرج? Somebody, can you translate in Oromo? Somebody? Ask them, is that difficult to search for your kid at 2 o'clock in the morning? Looking for your son? Skanda, can you translate that? Ya Nabil, is'alhum. Say it loud. Is it difficult? Is it a hardship to have to look for your kid in the middle of the night, searching in the streets for your kid, and you don't know where they are? Is that difficult? In the middle of the night. Ask them, is that hard, is that difficulty in your life, or is that easy? أريد إجابة يا جماعة. I need an answer. It's difficult, yes? But you're still making dua, and you're still praying on time, still doing all the things that you're supposed to. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the person, al-ibadah fil haraj kal-hijrati ilay. It's the same like you made hijrah, like the Ansar, and you're making a hijrah. But this hijrah, you're going to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When you're having hardships, wallahi have a ni'mah. Again, showing the opportunities that Allah provides for us to get closer to Him. At all times, Allah is always providing doorways for you to come to Him. If that door is closed, if that door gets closed, Allah has so many doors. He wants you to come to Him at any way that you can, so long as it's in accordance with the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Naam, tayyib. And so, inshallah, it's 8 o'clock. We have how many? 3 minutes? بقي 3 دقائق? 3 minutes, طيب. So طيب. So we know that, mashallah, Sha'ban, we said it's a special month. It's smack dab in between Rajab and Ramadan. We also said, what is the meaning of the word Sha'ab or Sha'iba? What's we say the meaning of that word? Spread out. Right? The people, when they used to spread out, we said what the meaning of that word is. We said how the Prophet ﷺ, he used to fast a lot during that time. And subhanallah, the last thing I want to mention and I want to close on is the understanding that we should look at, or that we should have when looking at the month of Sha'ban. And what I want you all to, the way I want us all to understand Sha'ban is that it is preparation for Ramadan. It's preparation for Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ. First of all, he said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. وهذا فعل ماضي كأنه مضى. خلاص هذا الفلاح المؤمنين، خلاص هذا وعد، هذا هو الواقع. هؤلاء أفلحوا خلاص. He said the believers, guaranteed they are successful. Before they step into any arena, before they go into any endeavor, they are successful. Why? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He describes who they are. And He describes why they're successful, right? He talks about, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Afwan. First thing he says is that they have khushu' in their salah, right? And on top of that, عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. And they turn away from laghu. And laghu, brothers and sisters, what that means, it doesn't mean just bad speech or backbiting or lying or cursing or saying bad things. It doesn't only mean that. أي كلام لا فائدة فيها هذا لغو. أي كلام لا فائدة فيها هذا هو لغو. Y'all understand? Any speech, any talk that has no benefit in it, that's called laghu. Alright? Not only that, he said they turn away from laghu. And when the ulama, when they explain this turning away from laghu, because he mentioned it directly after salat, fi salatim khashi'un. They mentioned that they have khashya and khushu' in their salah. لماذا? لأنهم عرضوا عن اللغو. They turned away from لغو. قبل الصلاة استعدادا للقاء مع ربهم وبعد الصلاة تركوا هذا اللغو. أكيد هذا أولى ما شاء الله. And of course in the salah. But they turned away from laghu. Any speech that, why? Because they're preparing. Spiritually they're preparing. Physically we prepare how? We wash ourselves. You're physically getting prepared. You have to make time. Even your time you have to prepare. If you want to pray in the jama'ah, you have to come. You have to leave your work. You got to excuse yourself. You have to step away from your family. All of that. Mentally you have to prepare yourself. And of course you turn away from a laghu. That's before the salah. And then even after the salah. But what's relevant here, what I want to say, right, what is related to the Sha'ban, is that it's before the month of Ramadan. Look at Allah describe them as what? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. They're successful because they prepare for their salah before the salah even started. They have khushu' in their salah because they were mentally prepared, they were spiritually prepared, they were physically, they were clean, they were prepared for their salah. Then they have khushu', then they have khashiyah. And so we want to prepare for Ramadan. Many of us, we don't prepare, we wait till the last minute, the last few days before Ramadan. Or even worse, we lose even the first few days of Ramadan. They still fast, but you got a headache, you're tired, you're overcome, your schedule's all messed up, ila akhiri. And we'll continue after the salah, inshallah, discussing about Ramadan being, Sha'ban being preparation for Ramadan, and what we need to be doing in the month of Sha'ban in that preparation. Barakallahu feekum, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and we'll continue after salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله استقيموا واعتدلوا بارك الله فيكم استووا تراصوا بسم الله
استووا استقيموا واعتدلوا بارك الله فيكم. استووا الرسول. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. كلا بل تحبون العاجلة وتذرون الآخرة وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة ووجوه يومئذ باسرة تظن أن يفعل بها فاقرة كلا إذا بلغت التراقي وقيل من راق وظن أنه الفراق والتفت الساق بالساق إلى ربك يومئذ المساق ولا صدق ولا صلى ولكن كذب وتولى ثم ذهب إلى أهله يتمطى أولى لك فأولى ثم أولى لك فأولى أيحسب الإنسان أن يترك سدى ألم يكن نطفة من مني يمنى ثم كان علقة فخلق فسوى فجعل منه الزوجين الذكر والأنثى أليس ذلك بقادر على أن يحيي الموتى الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله استغفر الله استغفر الله
This is a small bit.
حلوا هذا كلام حلوها عملي درس في شيء يمسكوا بالتمام يمشوا في الإسلام ما بساتهم بالتمام.
Nah. And just brother, you probably want to check in the hallways for the kids, because even if they're not specifically here for Allah, but you don't want them bothering like in the hallway, inshallah. طيب بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله ثم ما بعد. So we continue where we were discussing about the Fada'il Shahr Sha'ban. We're talking about the virtues of the month of Sha'ban and the understanding that we should have about this month and the way that we should look at it. And to sum it up in a word or two, we said it, Ramadan preparation. Preparation for Ramadan. 3 words. Tayyib? And so if I could make it an analogy for those of you who are into sports, which many people, يعني خلاص أصبح دينهم يعني يذكرونه قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم الله المستعان. Sports, whether it's soccer, volleyball, basketball, football, or what have you, real athletes that excel, they don't excel on the court or like boxing in the ring. That's not where the hard work is done. The hard work is done when? Off the field. Before you step into the ring. Before you step onto the court. That's where the real preparation is done. Before you're in front of your opponent. Before that soccer team, before they even come on the field to face their opponent, they've already done the real hard work, the preparation. And if they want to excel and they want to dominate, like a dynasty, like a dynasty, they don't do the hard work in their first game or in the middle of the season. They don't even do it preseason. It's not even preseason. The real work is not even done in the preseason. Real work is done when? Sheikh Fahmi, when's the real work done? For a dynasty, a team that's going to dominate. In the off season. Not during the season, not even the preseason, in the off season. When everybody's relaxing and vacation. The team that wants to dominate, that at the very least, if they don't go to the championships out of a decade 5-6 times, they're at least guaranteed they're going to the playoffs. Guaranteed they're going to the playoffs. And if they go to the playoffs, they're going at least 2nd, 3rd round. Guaranteed, every year. At the least, if they don't take the championships. Team that dominates. They prepare, but they do what? What do they do, Sheikh? They prepare. They prepare, but Allah musta'an, like I said earlier, just before the salah, when it comes to Ramadan, most people don't prepare. Or if they do, it's the last few days before Ramadan, or even worse, la qaddar Allah, they lose 3 days, 5 days, they lose it from the Ramadan. Not that they don't fast, we said they fast, but their schedule is messed up, they have headaches, I need to fat, no food is so difficult for them, it's so hard for them. Huh? Now in sports, you can still come out and win. In sports, you can be down 3 games, but after that, to win 3 games in a row, and that's only to tie it up. You got to win 1 more after that. That's a lot more difficult. Other teams got momentum. Other teams coming up, they got high spirits, and here you coming out of a deficit. It's possible, it happens, but it's near impossible. It's very, very difficult. Even in boxing. Even in boxing. Another fighter, they can dominate the fight. And they got technical points, they can win. Somebody else can come back from that. But when he goes to his corner, and he speaks to his corner, they're going to tell him, look, the only way you're going to win, you need a KO, you need a knockout. He's dominated the whole fight. For you to come out of it, you got to dig deep, and you got to come with a knockout. Otherwise, technical points, other guy's going to win. The point is what though? It's a lot more difficult to come out of a deficit and then to come out and still win. Whether it's in a team sport, whether it's a solo sport like boxing or MMA, but some people, that's how their Ramadan is. They lose the beginning of their Ramadan, now they're coming out of a deficit. Now they're trying to catch up in the middle of Ramadan. Now they're trying to fix their schedule so they can make sure they can make Taraweeh. Now they're trying to go tell their boss like, can I have some days off? And, why? Because they didn't prepare. Now the month of Sha'ban, Barakallahu feek. That month of Sha'ban, that's your preparation. That's the off season. كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يغفل عنه الناس يغفل كثير من الناس. A lot of people, they don't pay attention. يوم الخميس والجمعة يوم الاثنين والخميس. If somebody normally fasts every Monday and every Thursday, and then the middle of Sha'ban came, then go ahead, you can go ahead and do that, right? And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that this is okay, right? لا تقدموا رمضان بصوم يوم أو ولا يومين إلا رجل كان يصوم صوما فليصومه. He said, don't ever don't precede Ramadan in those last couple of days, right? Before Ramadan, he said, don't fast those days, except for the person who what? يعني عادة, he always fasts. So khalas, this person, he has the exception. If the middle of Sha'ban came, then he can go ahead and keep fasting. But if you didn't fast from the beginning of Sha'ban, and it's the 15th of Sha'ban, and you didn't start already, then khalas. Then don't. You want to get close to the end of Ramadan. Otherwise, you should be fasting as much as you can. Starting from, but he's saying what? Start from the beginning. Don't wait towards the end or towards the middle. He's saying start right from the beginning. And that's what we meant by starting in the off season. Now, the second exception to that rule, من بدأ بالصيام قبل نصف الشعبان. Obviously, whoever started in the beginning, and we already explained that. And then thirdly, ويستخدم من هذا النهي أيضا من يصوم قضاء رمضان. And of course, the person who last Ramadan, you missed a day, 2 days, 3 days, and you have to make them up, then you can go ahead and do it. Then you can go ahead and do it. As a matter of fact, you should. On the table. Allahu Akbar, I'll tell you. So, al-muhim, and I just want to mention quickly what Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah he mentioned in Majmur. قال أصحابنا لا يصح صوم يوم الشك عن رمضان بلا خلاف فإن صامه عن قضاء أو نظر أو كفارة أجزأه لأنه إذا جاز أن يصوم فيه تطوعا له سبب فالفرض أولى ولأنه إذا كان عليه قضاء يوم من رمضان فقد تعين عليه لأن وقت قضائه قد ضاق عليه. نعم. So al-muhim, the summary of what Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah said is that somebody should not be fasting, and he said mujma alayh. He said, we all agree, yani ashab shawafi', right, the Shafi'i mother. He said, they all agree. You should not fast on the days of shak. And you're not going to be, and it's not rewarded for that, right? For Ramadan. He said, there's no difference in that. Bila khilaf. He said, but if you were to fast to make up for something, or because some reason that's fault, he said, look, if the Prophet ﷺ is encouraging you to fast tatawwu'an, like extra fasting, then of course those that are obligatory on you, like the ones that you missed and you have to make them up, he said then no doubt from Bab al-Awla that it has more right that you would have to fast even though it's past the middle of Sha'ban. He said, and matter of fact, it will become fard ayn on that individual because now the month of Ramadan is coming close and the time is short. So now you really got to fast. Right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that, like what we should be doing in Sha'ban. وَيَوْمَ الشَّكِّ, and the day of doubt. I'm sorry, I didn't translate that. The day of shak. Yawm al-shak means the day of doubt. When they're not sure, is it Ramadan yet, or is it still Sha'ban? When they're looking out for the moon, on that day you should not fast. You should not fast on that day. That's what we mean by Yawm al-shak. ويوم الشك هو يوم 30 من الشعبان إذا حال دون الرؤية الهلال ليلة 30 غم أو غبار أو نحو ذلك وسمي يوم الشك لأنه مشكوك فيه هل هو آخر يوم من الشعبان أو أول يوم من رمضان. So he said the reason why it's called the day of that day of doubt is the 30th of Sha'ban, and that's basically it's the time for them to look for the moon for Ramadan. But they don't know, either because it's cloudy that day, or of like, well, he said ghubar, which literally means like dust, but imagine if we were like in the desert. It could be too, like a lot of dust in there where you couldn't see at night, you couldn't see because it's cloudy or whatever, somehow the moon is being covered, and so because of that, they call it the day of doubt, because they're not sure, is it Ramadan yet or not? because we couldn't see the moon, right? So he said, because it's doubtful, he said that's the last day of Sha'ban, and you're not sure if it's the first day of Ramadan. Tayyib? So, now I'm going to mention, inshallah, and wrap this up, what should we specifically be doing? We talked about the virtue of Sha'ban in just one or two ahadith. We talked about the proper mindset we should have, that is preparation, that we're preparing for so that we can benefit and maximize our benefit in the month of Sha'ban, or excuse me, to maximize for the month of Ramadan, that we have the right mindset. Now I want to talk about some specific things that you should do. Some specific things you should do. And we have them, 5 things. 5 things, inshallah. The first one is, make up any fasting that you have from last Ramadan. That should go without saying. Sisters, if you can hear me, brothers, if you can hear me, and actually, Ustad, if y'all can, over back there, you know. Any fasting that you owe to Allah, because it's a debt. If you miss some days from the last Ramadan, think of it like a debt that you owe. Or think of it like your bank account and you're overdrawn. And you owe that now. You have to give that back. That's the right of Allah. That's the haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so you have to make sure to make it up in the month of Sha'ban before next Ramadan comes. And أبي سلمة قال سمعت عائشة رضي الله عنها تقول كان يكون علي صوم من رمضان فما أستطيع أن أقضيه إلا في الشعبان رواه البخاري ومسلم. And so Abu Salama, he said that I heard Aisha رضي الله عنها say that she said that she had to fast or make up some fasting from Ramadan. She said, but I wasn't able to do it, and so I couldn't make it up. أقضيه إلا في شعبان, except for in Sha'ban. So that's one of the things. Anything that you have, any debt, you want to get rid of that. So when you start the month of Ramadan, you start it with a clear and even balance. The clear and even balance, and now you can start, bi'idhnillah, start racking up the ajr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what you want. You don't want to start with a deficit, with a debt with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the first thing. And Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he mentions وَيُؤْخَذُ مِنْ حِرْصِهَا عَلَى ذَلِكَ فِي الشَّعْبَانِ أَنَّهُ لَا يَجُوزُ تَأْخِيرَ الْقَضَاءِ حَتَّى يَدْخُلُ رَمَضَانَ آخَرَ. هذا في فتح الباري. And Ibn Hajar, he said, look it, understanding from that hadith where Aisha radiallahu anha, what she said and what she did, he said, and we can understand and take from the fact that she was keen in particular about making sure that she did it in Sha'ban, that we are not allowed to reach the next Ramadan, and you have other fasts that you have to do from the last Ramadan. Tayyib. So we move on. Second thing is, so we said the first thing is make up whatever you have from last Ramadan. Second thing is start to learn now. Al-jahl, ayn. Ignorance is like a sickness. It's like a disease. وَدَوَاؤُهُ السُّؤَالِ. And the cure for it is to question, to ask, to learn. Right? We need to start learning about the month of Ramadan now. So if you don't know about its rulings, what is the definition of Ramadan? What does it mean to fast? How do you fast? What if I forgot? What if I woke up late? What if I need to make ghusl? Can I still fast? What if the mu'adhin is giving the adhan and I didn't hear him and I was still eating? Do I still keep fasting? Or khalas, I gotta make that day up. What should I do? All of those things you should be learning about and asking those questions now, not on the 12th day of Ramadan and you did it already like 3 times. Allah musta'an. You should be asking that right now. طيب. تزودوا بالعلم ليقفوا على أحكام الصيام ومعرفة فضل رمضان. To learn the virtues of Ramadan, you need to learn them now. The ahkam of Ramadan, the mufattirat. What can break your fasting? There are some people who don't know. Subhanallah, they don't know. They think that, okay, I don't eat and I don't drink and I stay away from physical intimacy with my spouse, but I'm going to keep smoking cigarettes. They don't even know that cigarettes break your fast. I'm not talking. وما أتدخل وما أتكلم عن الدخان التدخين هل هو حلال أو حرام. ما أتدخل في هذا الآن. بس أقول هذا من المفطرات. هذا يجعلك خلاص أنت لست صائم. That means you're not صائم when you smoke cigarettes. Some people don't know that. They think, oh, it's okay. خلاص. These questions you need to be asking now. Husbands, you should be asking, is it okay if some intimacy with my wife, but no intercourse, Yani, is that okay? Can I kiss my wife on the cheek when I'm leaving the house and I just say salamu alaikum? Before I leave the house, can I do that? Or does that break my fast? You should be asking that question. I still have gym class. I still got basketball practice. Can I like drink water but still be fasting? Y'all laughing. Wallahi, people ask me that question. Wallahi, people ask me that question. I got, Sheikh, we going to the finals. Huh? We're going to the finals, Sheikh. I'm not going to eat nothing. But just, can I drink water though? They need me. I had somebody tell me that before. MashaAllah. Now, but you need to learn now. And in that vein, and on that note, inshallah, the next few Fridays after this, we're going to be going through a book, learning about the ahkam and the virtues and the fadl of Ramadan, called Majalis Ramadaniyah. All right, inshallah, we're going to be covering. So next week, and until the month of Ramadan, all we're going to be discussing and talking about is in preparation for and getting ready for isti'dadan li shahr Ramadan, inshallah. But number 2, we said is what? Start learning now. Number 3, free up your schedule. المسارعة في إنهاء الأعمال التي قد تشغلك المسلم أو المسلم في رمضان عن العبادات. Start now, talk to your boss, take care of anything that might busy you in the month of Ramadan. You have a project, as much as you can, try to finish that project before Ramadan. You got a paper or you got something you got to turn in or something you got to do, as much as you can, try anything that would busy you in the month of Ramadan unnecessarily. It's not essential to your work. Akhi, try to free yourself. Tell your boss now. Tell your boss now. Let him know now about the last 10 days of Ramadan, the day of Eid. Don't wait until 2 days before Eid and you come and you say, hey, Mr. Johnson, you know, this is my religious holiday. And Akhi, for months people are preparing for Christmas. For months people are preparing for Thanksgiving. Days that aren't even really holidays, St. Patrick's Day. McDonald's, they have a special drink in preparation for St. Patrick's Day. But the Muslims, Akhi, I go to Augsburg University, all right? I go to Augsburg University, which is right next door to here practically. It's very close to here. There are Muslims all over that campus. There's Muslims all over that campus. Can you imagine there's still instructors and professors who don't know about Ramadan yet, and Eid. And I asked one of my instructors, what is it, orientation education. I remember asking him, I told him I got to take off for Eid. I assumed, it was my first semester at Augsburg. I assumed because I saw so many Muslims, he would know what it is. So I told him, can I please have an extension on a particular project, paper, because Eid is coming, as you well know. He responded, yeah, I never heard of that before. So when I saw him in the class, I said, you don't have Muslims in your class? You never have Muslims in your class? He said, no, I have them all the time. I said, but nobody ever asked me to take Eid off. Nobody ever asked me to have an exception for Eid. He said, just a bunch of people just don't show up on that day. I said, prepare now though. But free up your schedule and prepare your schedule now. Choose already where you're going to be praying Taraweeh, the time that you're going to have for Quran, all of those things. But prepare and free yourself up right now. I can't tell you specifically what you should be doing exactly because everybody's different. Where you work at, some work in the morning, some work in the evening. But I'm just saying in general, in principle, free your schedule up as much as you can now so you don't have to worry about things during the month of Ramadan. Play it. And the fourth thing, and I notice, mashallah, there are some here who are fathers, mashallah, ala ra'sihim, Abu Kathir, mashallah, tabarakallah, Sheikh Bahruddin. Make it a family affair. Make it a family thing. Sit with your family, discuss with them, prepare with them. Let your family know that Ramadan is coming now and talk about it. So you can all collect the blessings and the goodness as a family. Many of our children do not understand the blessings and the virtue. Part of it is not our fault. Part of it is not our fault. And that part of it is what? That we reside in a non-Muslim country. And it's just the reality. When Christmas comes, right, Target is ready. They have signs. They're selling cards, right? Their theme is there. The colors are there. Even the clothing. Everything is prepared. And so nobody can get away from the fact that it's this special time of year. Nobody can get away from that fact. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, everybody knows. Tayyib? Do we have something like that for Ramadan? Do you see little crescent moons and dates being sold everywhere and Moroccan lanterns hanging everywhere? And, mashallah. No, it's not like that. Back home it is, and in many Muslim countries it is. So on that part, it's not our fault that the children don't understand the significance and the sacredness and the holiness and how special this month of Ramadan is. But what is our fault is all of us know where we are. We all know where we are, and we all know the situation. That means we have to, in kind, be better prepared and go out of our way to more explain, to more teach, to sit with our children, to sit with our families, and make it even more in our household like it's a Dawla Islamiyya, like it's a little Muslim country. Like you got to make it like a little Muslim country. I'm saying, and look it, this is not a fatwa, this is my personal suggestion. Akhi, wallahi, even decorating your house, the inside of your house. I'm not talking about lights and stuff on the outside like for Christmas. But in your house, akhi, right, to discuss with your family, talk with your family, sit with your kids. What's so special about, what are you going to do this Ramadan? How much sadaqah are you going to give this Ramadan? Muhammad, I know you're only 10 years old, but how many days you're going to fast? Inshallah, you're going to fast this whole Ramadan. Last year, mashallah, we let you go with 15 days, but this year, inshallah, we want you to finish. Talk with your family, right? And this is something that is very important because this is going to show them, your children first and foremost, that you see it as important. They will see that and observe that. Now, as much as we like to think that our children are so much influenced by outside forces, don't ever underestimate the power and influence that you have as parents. Never underestimate that. You have as a father and you have as mothers a tremendous amount of influence over your children because you are constantly with them. When you're talking with them and when you're not talking with them. They're constantly around and they're watching everything that you do. And I'll give you an example. Those of you who are fathers, and maybe you've seen a cute little YouTube, Facebook video, whatever, may or may not be on Instagram, I'm not sure, but as a father, you get up for salah. You make wudu, and you have a toddler. They're only 2 years old, 3 years old. They get up with you. You never taught them one day how to make wudu. But they come and they want to try to make wudu with you. Then you go to prayer. You ever seen those little videos where they have a little baby come and he's praying with his dad, or a little baby in the hijab and she's praying with her mom? Allah. Nobody ever sat and taught a 2-year-old how to pray. Nobody ever said, look at هذا هو الأحكام الشروط الصلاة وأركان الصلاة والواجبات الصلاة والسنن. من الذي يعلم الصبيان في 3 سنين 4 سنين؟ ما في أحد. لكن بالتلقي، بالنظر، بالاتباع، بما يشاهدون من آبائهم وأمهاتهم. يأتي صغير ويسلم أبيه، يأتي صغيرة وتسلم أمها بدون أحد يتكلم معهم. أليس كذلك يا شيخ؟ We say, oh, that's so cute. Because they observe and they watch what you're doing. Then when they're 10 years old, still the same thing. If every day a father gets up and he wakes his children up. Now we pray Fajr in this house. By the time that kid's 15 years old, you think he's going to ask? He's been praying Fajr for the last 12 years. He's been praying since he was 7 years old, 6 years old. He's been praying Fajr. You think he's going to say when he's 15 years old, nah, Dad, I don't feel like praying today. You think he's been praying all this time? Because the dad showed that this is important in my household. Because the mother, she stops cooking and stops everything. When it's time for salah, خلاص, توقف كل شيء, everything stops. That's how, right? They follow that example. Which one is it? I don't know. The left side? Oh, there it is. The left side. Now, so we said the what? Make it a family affair. هذا مهم جدا يا جماعة. وعمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه said that he used to wake up his children and his family for Qiyam al-Layl. And in some narrations it would say, يعني رشا على وجوههم. When they didn't feel like it, they turn over, he would sprinkle water in their faces. The Khayyal Abdullah ibn Umar, he's saying like, I'm tired. No. We have to pray. Lamu. I didn't say Fajr. I didn't do her Asr Maghrib Isha. Qiyam al-Layl. Think about that. Umar ibn Khattab, who is he? Radiallahu anhu. Khalifa, Amir al-Mu'mineen. He has all of the affairs of the Muslims he has to take care of. Then he comes home, he has the affairs of his family. Then in the middle of the night, he's got to have his own personal time that he has for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isha and whatnot. Then he's waking up in the middle of the night, but no, with my family though. My kids, they need to see this and how important this is. This is the perfect example that we have for those of us who are older and have children. Akhi, we have to do this with our children, in our families. Don't be soft on them. You have a daughter that's 7 years old, 6 years old, don't say, wait, look at her, she's miskeen, she's sleeping, she's so cute. Akhi, wake her up for 5 minutes, pray salah. Wallahi, you would do the same thing when she enters into preschool. You wake her up, make sure she gets on the bus, you wake her up, make sure she gets dressed, you make sure she has breakfast. 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, we do it all the time. But for Salatul Fajr, wait. She's sleeping. Let them sleep. Make it a family affair. And lastly, which we already said, is fast the month of Sha'ban as much as you possibly can. And this is following in the footsteps and the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we said 5 things, brothers and sisters. Number 1 is make up for last year. Any fasting that you have, any qada that you have to do. Number 2, start learning about Ramadan now. And inshallah, we said for the rest of the Fridays to come, Bismillah ta'ala, we're going to be going through the virtues and what is Ramadan, the ahkam of Ramadan, i'tikaf ila akhiri. Inshallah. So learning about Ramadan. Thirdly is free up your schedule now. Don't wait till later. Don't wait till a few days before Ramadan. Whatever you can do to free up your schedule so that you can come to the salah bil hudu. So that you can come, right? You don't have to like rush and hurry up and, well, I can only pray half of it because I have to wake up super early in the morning to go to work because I got to finish that. As much as you possibly can, free up your schedule. Number 4, make it a family thing. Discuss with your family, talk with your family, and make sure that they understand what it is. And then number 5 is fast as much as you can in this month. And lastly, I want to close with this hadith, fi Sahih al-Bukhari, and it's hadith Qudsi. But it's a very beautiful hadith, brothers and sisters, that really, it's like a bow that just wraps up this whole thing for us, inshallah. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام فيما ورد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال إن الله قال من عاد لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب وما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إلي مما افترضت عليه وما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه فإذا أحببته كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به وبصره الذي يبصر به ويده التي يبطش بها ورجله التي يمشي بها وإن سألني لأعطينه ولئن استعاذني لأعيذنه ما ترددت عن شيء أنا فاعله ترددي عن نفس المؤمن يكره الموت وأنا أكره مساءته. And subhanAllah, this is a beautiful hadith, brothers and sisters. And what makes it even more beautiful is that this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the words of Allah being narrated to us by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this, but it's not the Quran. But it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who said this. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, whoever has animosity, man adili waliyan, from one of my close and intimate friends, the awliya of Allah. Anybody who's their enemy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on their behalf, they don't have to worry about defending themselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares war on those people on their behalf. فَقَدْ آذَنْتُهُ بِالْحَرْبِ. That I'm going to declare war on those people who harm the people who are my awliya, my close and intimate friends. طيب. So how do those people become the close and intimate friends of Allah? Why are they the awliya of Allah? من هو الولي لله سبحانه وتعالى وما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إلي مما افترضت عليه. The people who they're keen, they're diligent, and they can never come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than those things that Allah has made as an obligation on them. There's nothing better than fasting in the month of Ramadan. Any other fasting that you could possibly do will never be the equivalent of one day of Ramadan. That's the best fasting you could ever do. The best prayer that you could ever pray, Fajr, Duha, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, they're the most beloved thing to Allah. Why? Because He expressly told you to do it. He expressly told you to do it. That means it's special to Him. That means it's what He wants. And when you fulfill that, that's more beloved to Him than any other thing that you do. And I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, I'm tired. Right? Let's say I'm tired right now. And I ask one of my children, I say, my son or my daughter, could you please go get me a cup of coffee? I'm tired right now. And they go and they come back. And in their hand, mashallah, tabarakallah, they're holding a cool, crisp, tall glass of Peruvian orange juice. Best orange juice ever tasted ever. I don't know if it really is. I'm just making that up right now. But I'm just saying. But is that what I asked for? Did they do something good? Did they do something nice for me? They did. Mashallah. They went and they got me a drink. But is that what I asked for? Is that what I told them to get me? It's not what I told them. So at that moment, even though they brought me something, but they did something different from what I asked them, am I going to be happy with them? No, because that's not what I asked for. That's not what I told you to do. Right? Tell you. So there's nothing better than the things that Allah expressly commanded you to do. There's nothing better than that. Now, طيب. So he says, أحب إلي مما افترضت عليه وما يزال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل. But he said, though, Allah goes on to say that what? And my servant continues to get closer and closer to me by what? By the nawafil things. So now when we talk about preparing in the month of Sha'ban, fasting more in the month of Sha'ban, and doing more good deeds in the month of Sha'ban, this is only you doing what? Getting closer and closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fasting on Yom al-Khamis, or Yom al-Ithnain, that's only you getting, after Ramadan, it's only you getting closer and closer to Allah. You praying 2 before Fajr is you only getting closer and closer to Allah. You memorizing Quran, Abdul Kareem, memorizing Quran, it's not an obligation, it's not wajib, it's not a must, right? You only a few surah, so you can at least pray. But when the more you memorize, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you. The closer you get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It only gets you closer to Him. طيب? And he says that continues to happen. حَتَّى أُحِبَّ. Until Allah loves you. Until you are the object of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's affection. He said, فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ. And then certain things start to happen. If Allah loves you, Ustad Fahmi, certain things start to happen. And there are a number of things, but I'll limit it to this hadith because it's more than enough. The thing that happens is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, كُنْتُ سَمْعَهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ. He said, I become the hearing that they listen with. I become their hearing that they listen with. Now, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come down into your body and He become your ear? No. But all of a sudden, you become aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and conscious of Him, يعني التقوى, to the extent that you only want to listen to things that please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You only listen to that which pleases Allah. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He loves you and you're from the awliya of Allah, khalas, your ears, even to listen to music, even just to hear it in passing, you say, you don't even like it.
let alone sit there and have a subscription to Pandora or what have you. No, that's entirely different. But even in the elevator, you can't, you know when you make a phone call and you call the bank and they'll be like, may I put you on hold please? And then there's some music, you don't even like to hear it. You only want to hear what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به وبصره الذي يبصر به. And the eyes, I become their eyes that they see with. Meaning your eyes only want to look at the things that are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even those things, even in passing, even on an accident, you see something inappropriate, you feel like your eyes have been violated. And you yourself, you only look at things that are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that's what? When you become from those people who are from the awliya of Allah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you. طيب. وَكُنْتُ وَيَدَهُ الَّتِي يُبْتِشُ بِهَا. And his hands that he grasps with and that he does things with. Meaning what? You only want to do good deeds. وَرِجْلَهُ الَّتِي يَمْشِي بِهَا. And the feet, they only want to carry, you only want to go to good places. Places that Allah is pleased to seeing you with. وَإِن سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَنَّ. And if they were to ask me anything, they will get it. I will give it to them. He said, لَأُعْطِيَنَّ. I will give it to them. وَهَذَا بِالتَّأْكِيد. لَأُعْطِيَنَّ. هذا لا بالتأكيد. Right? I'll guarantee I'll give it to them. وَلَئِنْ اسْتَعَاذَنِي لَأُعِيذَنَّ. And if they ask for protection with me, they're protected. They're under my protection. And look at this, brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا تَرَدَّدْتُ. He said, and I never hesitated, right? أَنَا فَاعِلُهُ. In an action or a thing that I do, تَرَدُّدِي عَنْ نَفْسِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. Then the way I hesitate when I have to take the soul of a believer. يَكْرَهُ الْمَوْتِ. He said, they hate death. They don't like death. وَأَنَا أَكْرَهُ مَسَاءَةَ. And I hate to harm my servant, my slave, this believing slave. This close and intimate friend of mine, this one who I love, he said, I hate to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. But at the end of the day, we all know that what? But we have to die. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. But Allah said, I hesitate. Said, I had to take their soul. Because I know they don't like it. But that's only for who? For the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. And those people are who? They're the ones who do the extra things. It's not wajib for you to fast in Sha'ban. You don't have to. But if you want to get closer to Allah, if you want to get all those rewards that we've been talking about, then we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He make us of those who are beloved to Him and that we love Him more than anything else. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plant our feet squarely on the minhaj and the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yashraha sudurana wa yurzuqana at-taqwa wal-iman. Allahumma ameen. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. And we conclude here. And so I just want to announce after this, brothers and sisters, that inshallah next week we will be starting with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, the book called Majalis Ramadaniya, the Ramadan loungings or sittings, right, where we'll be talking about everything we need to know about the month of Ramadan in preparation for it. So inshallah, I will let you know that those sittings will be taking longer, right? So be prepared for that. And if you want the book, you can get the PDF offline. It's called Ramadan Loungings. You can download the PDF offline, or you can go to Dar al-Faruq's, Sheikh Walid Al-Manisi's official website, almanisi.com. You can download the PDF from there, both in English and in Arabic. Both in English and in Arabic. And so that's what we're going to be covering. Same thing, we'll be starting at 7 o'clock, but then we'll be finishing at 9 o'clock, bi'idhnillah. The only reason why we finished at 9 o'clock today is because we didn't start until about 7:30, and then also there was the salat in between. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, we would normally only go for about an hour and 10 minutes or so. But I'm letting everybody know in advance now, it will be approximately 2 hours or so, right? Because we want to try to finish that book before Ramadan starts, right? Now, barakallahu feekum wa salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah. Huh?